Hi everyone, it's Sylvia Kuchena, psychotherapist and traumatologist. So today I want to talk to you about a topic that I haven't touched in years. So today we will be talking about money, finances, and how is that connected to your relationship with your parents. As many of you probably saw or heard, mother wound, father wound is connected to your finances or how much money you're going to earn. Recently, I have had people coming to me in panic, thinking that they will never reach their financial goals because of their relationship with the parents. So the aim for this episode is to at least put you at ease that this is not the case, and I will give you a strong reasons or a good explanation at least of what is happening, why some people are saying that money struggle equals father or mother wound. Unfortunately, it's all big mind game, but I will explain the connection, but my aim is to put you at ease that this is not really the case, because number one rule is that money stress activates all the wounds, but unhealed wounds are not cause of your lack of money. So what Instagram is selling, I feel like it's reversed. In fact, it's the other way around. And let's talk about that today. So maybe before we go into the connection, let me just give you a little bit background or explanation what father wound is and mother wound is, because these are quite common concepts. First of all, what I want you to know that both of those terms are not clinical diagnoses. These are psychological and relational concepts that are often used in trauma-informed therapy or inner child work. So this is more of the concept that psychotherapists will use. Again, money is not symbolic of your parents. So money does not symbolize your parents. Money itself, I feel like I could have another episode on money itself. Money is energy. I'm sure you have heard that many times. When I say money is energy, it's because money can activate your nervous system. It activates your attachment patterns and also threat and safety responses. So it's loads of energy going on when it comes to money. So now, in short, what mother and father wound is. Basically, the mother or father wound is created when our own emotional or physical needs are not being met when we were children. So it means that our childhood needs were not met. Sometimes it's not intentional, it doesn't really matter. If our needs were not met, then very likely father or mother wound will be created. So then if you would look at the symbol of mother, represents safety, emotional attunement, worthiness of love. Father represents protection, validation, direction, confidence, and our place in the world. So the two questions I would like to ask you right now: am I safe to be myself? And am I worthy of love? The second question: do I matter in the world? Am I capable? So these questions I would like you to have in mind during this conversation, because these questions already evoke some kind of emotional response in you. So just have that in mind while you're going to listen to the rest of this episode. And why is that important? Why emotions are important? I'm trying to demonstrate to you that your emotions are really already there before any financial situations, before any financial conversations, any money conversations. So it's not like your wounds will determine how much money you're going to have or earn or feel worthy of. It's not really about the external thing. It's more about yourself, your relationship, your beliefs, your self-concept, and I will get back to it. So then again, if you would look at mother wound, psychologically, we would have to look at your own emotional attunement. How safe you are. Do you give yourself permission to need? Do you care without needing to perform? So really the mother wound represents how safe you feel having needs. So the mother wound can show up in different behaviors around money. So for example, one of them will be feeling shame for wanting money or feeling shame for needing money even, or asking for help. So if there is shame attached to needs, that's something for you to look out for. Guilt around charging for your work. Anxiety when you spend on yourself. Very important, on yourself. Let's underline that. Fear of taking too much. You might feel like you want too much when you have a desire of buying something nice for yourself. You might feel like you're being too greedy, you're asking for too much. And also your behavior around receiving support, and that includes gifts, prizes, or grants. So how are you with receiving? Does it come easy, or is there a bit of hesitation? Is there a bit of resentment? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I immediately need to give something back. If that is so, it could mean that you would have a mother wound somewhere in you. So as you can see, though the mother wound can impact your emotional comfort with money, but it does not impact your income potential. It's more about emotional comfort with money than actually what you're capable of earning or getting. It's not about financial ceiling. It's more about your emotional comfort. In other words, we could simply say that someone who associates having money with shame or guilt or some kind of a threat, then that person will be struggling hugely with, or will be triggered by, with conversations about money. It will evoke anxiety. It will trigger something deeper. It will trigger attachment anxiety, because attachment equals safety. So let's look now at the father wound. So the father wound is connected then to protection, authority, direction, external validation, external competence, and boundary setting. So those wounds, those struggles could then impact your behavior in having difficulty negotiating your salary, fear of being too visible or leadership roles, overworking to prove your worth, working too much, workaholism, avoidance of responsibility or decision making, distrust in bosses, institutions, systems. So if you're struggling with self-trust or authority, then the financial agencies will probably feel too much, or will be feeling too overwhelmed or even unsafe. So let me say this again, what I said at the beginning. Money stress activates old wounds, but not unhealed wounds causes lack of money. So money stress activates old wounds, but old wounds do not determine how much money you're going to earn, or they're not the reason for your lack of money. So in other words, mother wound equals to safety, shame, and receiving, but it doesn't determine financial ceilings. Father wound, confidence, agency, assertiveness, but does not impact wealth creation laws. It doesn't impact the laws of money. So both of those wounds will impact your own emotional regulation, but they will not impact market outcomes. So in other words, mother and father wound can shape emotional and behavioral responses to money, because finances activates attachment and threat responses. Because finances activates attachment and threat systems. However, they do not impact financial outcomes. Money is governed by structural, economic, behavioral, and psychological factors, not only psychological factors. That's what Instagram is trying to tell you. So how much money you're going to have to earn, it's not simply determined by your childhood experiences or your relationship with your parents. That wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't be even fair, especially when we always say that if you want to heal trauma, we do not need other people to help us with. Because if that was true, what they're telling you, that if you don't have money, then your relationship with your parents isn't great, then no one really probably would have loads of money, and that would be disturbing. So why I don't agree with people who try to tell you that you're struggling with money because you have bad relationship with your parents is that mindset pathologizes poverty and pathologizes financial struggles. It dismisses people who are struggling with money. It feels like victim blaming. There's something wrong with you. That's why you're broken. There's something wrong with you. This is why you're struggling with money. Like that is not okay to say that. Having that mindset is almost like you would say to someone, you don't have money, so you're psychologically broken. If abundance haven't come yet, you haven't done enough healing. You're struggling financially, unresolved childhood trauma. That's not true. That is not true. Sometimes when it comes to money, it's as simple as you're bad at budgeting. You're spending too much. Not everything is linked to childhood trauma. Not everything is trauma. I did say that. It came from psychotherapists and traumatologists. And when traumatologist is telling you not everything is trauma, it must be true. Oh, Christ. I just don't agree when people are trying to play mind games with other people based on selling, based on catch them. Like, that's fear. It's not based on love, acceptance, connection, autonomy. It's not based on integrity. Those kind of titles, you're struggling financially, then you need to look at your relationship with your parents, or if you will not heal a relationship with your parents, you will never have financial freedom. Be careful. Be careful with those titles. Be careful what you allow yourself to believe, who you follow, and who you listen to, because that's not true. And we have many evidence that couldn't be possibly true. Simply look at those multi-millionaires or billionaires even. I'm sure they don't have a great relationship with their parents, and yet they have loads and loads of money. So it doesn't balance us out. Also, don't be afraid of money. Don't be afraid of having this conversation about money. there is lots of stigma around money, but it's not, sometimes not even personal, sometimes it's collective. So money evokes loads of emotions in us, and these are the emotions that you can look at, ask yourself why you feel them, what's going on, but don't necessarily link this as, oh my god, I have so much to heal, or there's so much wrong with me. That is not usually the case. Sometimes it's about self-discipline and allowing yourself not to spend, because we want too much, we're spending too much. This lack of structure. Maybe you don't have the good budgeting skills, and that's about that. It's not about never-ending therapy, never-ending healing, never-ending working on yourself. Sometimes the work you've done is enough, and you just need to stand and embrace it all. Sometimes you just need to look into the mirror and say, oh my god, I have done so much healing, so much work on myself. Let's just embrace it all now. Because if we're going to look at money, or like, I've done so many business courses as well, and there is no such a thing in any of them that will tell you, heal your mother wound and you will be loaded. That's not the case. Sometimes I wish it was that easy. Sometimes I wish it was true. But we do need to look at budgeting skills. We do need to look at employment opportunities. We need to look at career strategies, negotiation skills, and of course, economic conditions. Because all of this, I feel, is put on Instagram through visualization. Or all of this is being replaced on Instagram by visualization, manifestation, somatic releases, embodiment of abundance. What those things even mean? There are nice big titles, they're nice catchy words, but what do they mean? So if you're following some mentors or coaches that will tell you those things, ask them to explain, what does that mean? Ask for clarification, because if you watch something and you left with, oh my god, there's so much wrong, oh my god, there's another thing, oh my god, how will I even start? You immediately put in the position where you're in need. You immediately put in positions like there's something wrong with you. That's not the way to heal. That's not the way to change anything. Because if anything, that just puts you right back to your comfort zone, which is probably fear, which is, sure, I was just right. I knew there was something wrong with me. I knew I can't have money. I knew I shouldn't be asking for so much because X, Y, and Z. Be careful what you accepting to be your truth, because only you can challenge the truth. Only you determine your own truth, and you've got to trust that. So mother wound, father wound, yes, they're real. Do they determine your financial ceiling? Absolutely not. But finances will trigger those old wounds. It's not the other way around. This can't impact how much you're going to earn. These are two separate things, that you are the link. You never heal externally. You never do anything external. You do the internal work. So if there is childhood trauma, if there is financial struggles, you're the connection. You're looking at yourself. You don't constantly trying to fix things outside. It's not about fixing. Healing never is about fixing. Healing is about connecting. So hearing those Instagram big titles, ask yourself, does this help me connect with myself? Or does this evoke more fear and my ego saying to me that, oh, I was right, I'm more broken than I thought I would? I hope this has put you somehow at ease, because you do not have to go back to your parents and beg for their love to change, to be somewhere different, to love you, beg them to get them to make you feel worthy so you can actually have financial freedom. You don't need to do that. You don't need your parents to heal your own wounds if that's what you want. You don't need your parents. You don't need to fix any relationship, forcing yourself to do something. Picture someone in the lenses that maybe you're not willing to, you're not ready to, you can't. You don't need to do that for you to have money. And we can't forget that some relationships with our parents are not replaceable. Some of us had very, very, very difficult relationship with our parents. And again, this is not about blaming. This is not about begging. This is not about getting them to do something for you, forcing someone. That's not healing. We don't do that. Maybe they didn't know how to love you. Maybe your relationship with them is not replaceable. Maybe you're not willing to forgive them. Maybe you're not wanting to repair relationship with them. And that is okay. You have the choice. You have the right to do that. But that is not determination of on how much money you're going to earn, how much money you're worthy of having. That's not the case. You, as an adult, you determine your own worth. You determine how capable you are of doing something and how much energy and action you're willing to put on. So just remember about your own autonomy. Remember about your own doing. It's not about blaming, and it's not about victimizing yourself, other people, systems, all of that. Feel the power inside you. Feel like you can do it. Feel like you're independent. Take responsibility and tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself to get what you want, to receive what you want. Again, this is not the work externally. This is where you keep bringing this work to yourself. Keep asking yourself, how does that make you feel? Is this working for me? What's stopping me? Why am I stopping myself? What's going on? Keep bringing this back to yourself. Think about the mother wound, the father wound as indicators. Think about those wounds like green lights. I have the green light. I will go through it. I can deal with it. So these are navigators of what and where you can work on, but these are not determination of how much money you can have. So thank you very much for today, and I will see you very, very soon. I will see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe if this content resonates with you. You can share it with your friends. You can spread the word about this channel. Recently, I heard that I don't share this podcast enough, so I'm asking you to do it for me, basically. So thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.